Okay. All right. So pleasant, good evening, everyone, and thank you for that amazing welcome. We had a land at night and all the amazing stuff before, but I didn't put the recording on, so you are seeing it at this point. And I know it is just a summary of what we're going to do for the evening. So you'll only get to see, if you're listening by video of this recording, you'll only get to see what is happening in the main room and not in the breakout room. And as time goes by, since not everybody wants to be always on camera, you will take a note that I will pin myself, and so most of your recording you'll see me in the foreground, and then others in the background. So I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm excited to have this conversation with us all, and we're going to look at leadership and change in equity, diversity, and inclusion. And something was very, very profound that I was asked by the organizer to share. And so I am doing something that I hardly ever do, but I'm doing it with so much heart. And it's funny because I agreed, not even realizing how much you follow me and how much you use my work. And it's an honor and a privilege to know that you do that. When I tell you it's an honor and a privilege, it is. And as a chapter you talk about, if I get a copy of, I think it's on my computer, I'll drop it in the box as well so people can see, and other things I'll drop in the box, just resources for you to share. So while you're in breakout room, look out for me dropping some things when you come back in the chat so you can download them and use them. And also on my YouTube page, any video, I always say this to people, any video on my page, you're allowed to use without my permission. It's for public use. I don't monetize my page because that's a part of the equity work that I want to do personally, is to allow resources. So any video you see on my my YouTube page, it's for you to use. You don't need to ask my permission. You give credit and you use it. So I want to be here to talk about leadership and change in equity, diversity, and inclusion, and something we're going to talk about later on, because we're going to spend some time to talk about ourselves and self-care. That was very intentional request, because as I always say, this work is heavy lifting. I say this all the time, and a lot of us who say, yeah, let's do this, and which is fine, because some of us, we started doing the work in equity, diversity, and inclusion, anti-oppressive practices, towards LGBTQIA+, whatever we start to do, decolonizing work, all kind of stuff. And then we realize, oh, well, this is heavy. You remember that button, that advertisement? Well, that was easy. We realized there is no button here. I guarantee you, none of you could say to me, I have a button, Dr. Campbell, that makes the equity journey, the EDI, the anti-oppressive practices work, the anti-racist work, the work against homophobia and Islamophobia and all anti-Semitism. You can say to me, we have made this work easy. It's not. It is not. It is not. And so this is going to be a little bit different. And I feel my energy so high right now. And I can tell you, my energy should be low. I'm on break. I just came back from a vacation, but you pull on my energy in such a beautiful way. And I want to thank you for doing that. I could feel you pulling on my energy in such a beautiful way. And I mean that. I feel it. I don't know why, but I feel it and I'm receiving it. The love I'm getting right now. And I want to underline that, because what we have to understand in doing this work, there needs to understand that this work is heavy lifting. And so I need Wendy to help me. I need Elisa to help me. I need you, Judith. I need you to help me to do this work. And you need me to help you to do this work. That's why we share resources and we share stuff. And so we're going to get into this work. So as you see this slide on the board, and this came from, I must say, on my Master of Teaching team here at the University of Toronto, OISE. I went to a workshop, a meeting actually, with one of our leaders, Caroline, and she showed this. And from the day she showed this, I have been using this, because I don't know, that it was so perfect. I think she took such time to find the right pictures with the right energy, the right emotions for me, but they mean different things to other people. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you to type in the chat box for me. We're going to participate. As you're thinking of your own work in leadership, your own work in equity, your own work in this local, your own work in in the work of EDI and whatever we want to call it, DEI and whatever letters they want to use, you think about your own work. I want you to type in the chat for me. Just type in the chat for me. Which picture best resonates with you? Which picture is best saying where you are now? What you feeling now? And I use the word now very, very, very intentionally. I want you to realize I use the word now very intentionally. As leaders, I use the word now very intentionally. So somebody's mic is on. You could turn off your mic, please. Thank you, Juana. Which picture, thank you, Judith. Which picture represents what you're feeling now? Everybody go in the chat and type that for me. The fish, thank you. I see that Marissa, the fish, the singer, Kathleen, the bird, different. The dog, good. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's take 2 volunteers. I promise you 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 2 volunteers, go ahead and raise your hand and tell me which picture you choose and why. 2 volunteers, 30 seconds. Which picture you choose and why? Go ahead, I think Kathleen, go ahead, Kathleen, please.
So I chose the singer in the bottom. So I feel this is my 2nd year working with the Indigenous education team.
Yes.
With the school board here. So I've really over the last couple months found my voice. I feel in the role and really like I'm at the point where I'm done you know, not speaking my mind and not shouting metaphorically and what needs to be done and what is right and what is needs disruption for the betterment of our students.
Wow, thank you. I'm going to come back to your prayer because something you said dropped right into the deep parts of my energy just now. So maybe it's you giving me all that good energy. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to come back to you. Let's take one more person. Who wants to go next? One more person. You can use a raise an icon or you can just turn your mic on and speak. Go ahead. I think Marissa. Yes, go ahead, Marissa, please.
I said the fish because I'm actually, it's loud behind me, I'm sorry. I'm actually in a new school this year and I find that they're a bit behind where I was at my old school. So I'm constantly trying to bring everyone along with me a little bit. Like I'm the excited dog in amongst that clownfish kind of. So.
Beautiful. Anybody else want to go? Take one more? Let's take one more. Feel the need for one more. Who want to go? Go ahead. I think it's Elisa. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, when you said, where are you right now?
Yes.
So today was not a good day.
Oh, thank you.
So that's why I picked the dogs, like kind of, right now, that's where I am, but that's not usually where I am.
Thank you. And thank you for being so honest. Thank you for being so beautiful in that. I want to start with you, Elisa. When I said now, I don't know why this energy is on me this afternoon. It's thank you. Just want to say thank you for that. Because a lot of us in doing this work, we have been pretentious, we have been fake, we have been dishonest, but also here, get ready for this. Get ready for this, Kathleen, because my energy is pulling on you. But we also sometimes feel like we are forced to perform being strong and Superman every time because we're in this fight and whatever. And it's not real because sometimes we get tired in this work. Sometimes we realize it's heavy lifting because let me tell you something, nobody's applauding you as much as you think when you are coming as a disruptor. They say, oh, here comes Kathleen. She's going to say this. She's going to say that. Oh my God, I heard it before. She's going to say, we're not listening. She's going to say the indigenous. She's going to, And all of a sudden, you don't realize that energy that they put on you, it impacts you. And you keep on have to build up yourself. You keep on have to be strong. You keep on have to get up in the morning and affirm yourself like the peacock and open up all your feathers and say to yourself, I am a leader. I am a disruptor. I am here to do this work of activism. I'm here to do this work as an accomplice, as an ally. I am here to do this work as a co-conspirator. But you have to also do what Elise said. You be honest with yourself and say, you know what? This week, I'm going to need to take a break. I'm going to need to rest because I want to be good enough. So I need to be well enough. I want to be well enough. so I can be good enough. Thank you, Wendy. I see your thumbs up. I receive it. You want to be good enough to be well enough. And so it's important. But I love how you said something, Marissa, and you talk about the journey. And what I love, you said, normally I am like this dog, but I'm in a new situation and I'm going through the fishes. I'm trying to get them to follow me again. And guess what? It is fine. It is fine. This is how the work is. There's always people coming along. What I want you to do, Marissa, as a leader, is to welcome those who are coming along. Welcome those who are coming along and welcome them with such beautiful energy. Don't let them feel like they are late to the game. We know some of them are late to the game. Sarah, we know they are late to the game. Megan, we know they are late. As a matter of fact, some people even don't even start the game. I'm going to tell you a story because I'm a storyteller. I'm going to tell you a story. In the middle of George Floyd in 2020, I'll come back to you, Caitlin, for what you said. In the middle of George Floyd in 2020, when everybody was getting to anti-Black racism work, everybody remember 2020, March, April, May, June, it was big. And I was getting calls nonstop. And 2021, it was even more. And certain group would come to me and I would say to them, well, what do you want me to talk about? And I said, oh, Dr. Campbell, anti-Black racism. And I said, tell me about the group. And I remember this particular group. It was a group of 100% white folks, about 40 something of them white folks. They wanted me for a conversation and they wanted me to talk about how to disrupt anti-Black racism. These folks don't have Black friends. They don't live in neighborhood with Black people. They read about Black people in a magazine. They see Black people being arrested by police on a TV show or on CP24. That's our news station here in Toronto. And that's what they know about Black people. It's the same way many people want, oh, let's talk about decolonization. Let's talk about anti-Indigenous. Let's talk about this. And the only thing they know about Indigenous folks is that they see them with feather. They see a drum, they see a dance, and they see a smoke. They know nothing else. Don't start with me, somebody, because I'm feeling my, Wendy, I'm here. Wendy, I'm here. I feel your energy. I'm loving you. Listen, as educational leaders in this work, we have to understand, Marissa, that many people are not ready for the journey. It's like they were assigned the journey. They put their name on a list for the journey. Oh, I'm going to go there. There is a promotion at the board, so it's a 6-figure salary. So they have rights of power. So let me apply. Oh, you weren't ready for this. Can we dismiss them? Because I don't know if you were ready. Marissa, give me a thumbs up if you're ready for the conversation. Okay, you look like you're ready. Because I'm going there. I'm going there. So we find in this work, it's a lot of work you have to be doing because even some persons who are supposed to be lifting with you are not lifting because for them, the lifting is a job, it's a title, it's a promotion. It's just for the resume. As the children would say, it's for the gram. It's for the post. Black Lives Matter, Indigenous Lives Matter, Orange T-shirt Day, LGBTQ. Like I told some, I was honored to be the scholar in residence at the St. Francis Xavier University in Halifax last week. And as I walked around, I saw so many LGBTQ flags and T-shirts like on the campus. And then I realized it was their Pride Month in January. Never know that, learn something new. And I made a statement. I said, I hope you understand, having a pride flag on your door don't make you an ally. I mean, I was an invited guest, Marissa. I have to be careful what I say, but you know me. When I get in my juice, I am gone because the truth gonna set me free. And I said, I noticed how many pride flag I saw on the door and trans flag all over the campus. I hope when we take down the flags and take off the stickers, I hope we're still an ally. And so I want to thank you for saying that. And the last comment is about what you said, Kathleen, find your voice. It's a work to find our voice. And sometimes our voice feel like it's strained. My voice, I could tell you, has trembled many times. Many times my voice has trembled because I'm speaking something and I'm speaking it. Watch me carefully. Watch me carefully. I'm speaking it. Watch me carefully. Not because I'm feeling safe, Sarah. I'm not saying it, Jackie, because I'm feeling safe. I'm saying it because I have to be brave. Two different things. There are many places we are calling safe spaces. They are not safe spaces. When you and I use them, Karen, you and I use them, Wendy and Jackie, we have to be brave to use those spaces. So we are the ones who are engaging in those courageous conversations, but we don't feel safe. But we are brave because that's what the work requires of us to do. And so as we get into this, finding our voice as leaders is quiet, important. And so I'm happy, we're there. And so we get into this session. I want to talk a little bit more today about, understanding who we are in relation to systems of privilege and oppression, and unlearning the habits and practices that protect those systems. And that's by Bettina Love, a book I highly recommended. When I said highly, I mean highly. This is a book that I highly recommend. It's from Bettina Love. It says we want to do more than just survive. And it's about abolitionist teaching and the pursuit of educational freedom. It talks about Black children, those who are dark, but you can take this to use for all marginalized population within our schools. It's freedom dreaming, Marissa. Oh, it's talking about what would school be like if we never had to disrupt and dismantle and tear down and speak out and shout out and beg for a seat at the table. What would school be like if all our students had the opportunity to come to school and to be their best selves, because educators were loving and caring, and as they walked to the door, a child would go, wow, well, this is my classroom, a sense of belonging. Instead, you and I, we're meeting here after school. I want you to understand, you and I, we're meeting here after a long day's work, so we can talk about how do we equip ourselves to create space of belonging in our schools. This is extra work. Whether you're happy to be here or not, this is extra work that you are doing. And I thank you for honestly acknowledging and confronting the imbalances that we see. We have to talk about, so as we want to grow, the journey, I love the voice, what you said, Kathleen. As you find your voice, Kathleen, we want to talk more about the competence and the skills we need in finding that voice as a leader in equity, diversity, and inclusion. And also the ways we wish to do this work. So we, as leaders, we can think about, critical race, think about strategic planning and frameworks and leadership frameworks, and think about action plans and the deeper stuff and how we're going to get there. So there's work to be done. And what I love about this, about our being here, is that I think by just our initial conversation and by Marissa and you all sharing, you understand that the work is being messed up by this. This is a stage. It's performance. And a lot of us, we are so educated, we're so qualified, we are so schooled, we're so well read, that we know how to perform. And during anti-Black racism, I call it that the height of the unlearning in 2021. I remember everybody did a book club, and everybody had their book clubs, anti-racist. Everybody wants to talk about anti-Black racism. And everybody had their book clubs. And people who had one book club, and there were 5 meetings, and you attend one meeting with a cup of tea, you walked away thinking you were now a skilled anti-racist. Performative. Because it's a journey. It's a constant journey. It's work. And so we have to understand that as leaders, we want all of us not to be pretentious, but I want us to be transformative leaders, equity leaders, ethical leaders, leaders that are honest and will know how to speak up and speak out about an inequity that you see, something unethical. When you see something, you have to learn to say something. We have too many of us who refuse to speak up. We have not found our voice. And we are afraid, because here is a truth, though. Here is the truth. This work is consequential. There are people who realize, oh, if you're the equity person, you may not be the one who getting all the promotion and the new jobs because you're bringing a kind of message that nobody wants to hear. But that's why when you become a leader in this field, you have to realize it's consequential. And so you're going to have to do that. So I want us, before we go into our first breakout room, I want us to read this quote together. And it says, leadership creates a space and conditions in which learning communities that embrace diversity and multiculturalism as a way of life rather than as a problem to be solved can flourish. Here's a powerful part. When inclusion becomes a way of life in the classroom and school, teachers and students regularly engage in the difficult work of facing honestly the incidences of injustice, racism, discrimination in their school, and embracing their responsibility for constructing school cultures that respect, support, and sustain diversity as a welcome aspect of school. Now, what I've done before we go into our first breakout room, I have highlighted 3 statements. And remember, you can take picture of any of my slide, you can take screenshot, you can take picture of me talking, that is fine. You want to share on social media, that is fine. You do have my full permission to do that. And absolutely, you'll get a copy of this video, I'm sure, by tomorrow afternoon, because I'm going to send it either tonight or tomorrow morning. And you have, the power to use it because you're a participant in it. We're going to go into our first breakout room. And for those who are not with us and you're going to listen to this or watch this later on, we're going to be having a conversation about how do we create spaces and conditions. What does that mean? When you talk about creating spaces and conditions, what does that mean? Because I want to say this before you go into the breakout room. Inclusion doesn't just happen. A seat at the table doesn't just happen. Safe spaces don't just drop from the sky, or you paint them yellow and put the flowers on the door and it become a safe space. It doesn't work like that. Somebody like you and I, somebody like you, Marissa, somebody like you, Kathleen, somebody like you, Judith, and Sarah, and Melissa, and Karen, somebody like you decide, I am going to create space and conditions so people can thrive. It's work, it's effort. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into our breakout room for about 6-7 minutes. And all we want to talk about is how are we creating space and conditions? A very, very wide topic. So there's no wrong answer. I want you to share with each other. Remember, there's no recording in the chat. So I want us to do that. How are we creating space and condition? It's 2 different things, space and condition. So let's spend some time talking about spaces and conditions when it comes to belonging and when it comes to growth and inclusion in our school. Let's share the work. Let's share experiences. Tell us how you have been doing that, creating space and condition. So I'm going to pause at this time as we go into our breakout room. All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Interesting conversation. I got to visit every single room. That's what I normally do, and I stay in the back just listening to the sharing. Christelle, welcome to the space as well. Welcome back, everybody. Good conversations, right? And we're going to get more opportunity to share. And as we're thinking about what we just discussed, there's another question on my table for discussion. We're not going to go into our breakout rooms yet, but I want you to reflect on this for a minute. My role as a leader, education leader, and change agent. And we just put the word, and I want to be very clear on this. When we talk about leadership, I just put the word educational leader and change agent because those are the words we are so accustomed to using, the words we appreciate in our texts and in our readings, but literally you can literally put just your name there. My role as Andrew, my role as Natasha, my role as Judith, my role as Melissa in impacting, building, and sustaining an equitable and inclusive culture, and climate. And I want you to understand how important leadership is to this work. Because a lot of times when we're into these conversations, we kind of think, when we hear the word leader, we kind of look around. What we do, Natasha, is that we look around to find, well, who is the leader among us so they could get this work done? Not realizing that we are that person. And I'm going to share an example what I mean by that. I have a conversation I normally do quite a bit with people, and I would say, especially when it comes to talking about equity and anti-oppressive practices, racism, anti-Black racism, I always ask a very important question, and I would say to leaders, how many missed opportunities we have had? How many missed opportunities you and I have had to do something that would have allowed us a culture to be more equitable? That's a question I like to ask people to reflect on. I never ask for an answer because it's deep, it's personal, and it's supposed to be reflective. And it's supposed to also make you uncomfortable because it's challenging you. And that is my job, to challenge you. How many missed opportunities have you and I had where we could have impacted, built, sustained, and we did not? And so as a leader, when it comes to transformative leadership, equity leadership, inclusive leadership, whatever title you want to call it, servant leadership, transformative leadership. And as we talk about leadership, we talk also about our classrooms. I was in one room hearing about circle time and the value of circle time and what it really means. But think about your pedagogy and your practice. Let's take away the word leader for a minute and put in the word teacher. Let's take away the word teacher for a minute and put in the word classroom person, whoever you are, EA, SNA, ECE. Ask yourself, what is my role in my classroom practice and pedagogy? And so as we have this conversation, we're going to further this conversation. We're going to look at three main things this evening. Three main things. We're going to talk about conducting a personal audit. We're going to look at using our equity lens. And don't worry, you're going to be out on time. I'm very respectful of your time. I do understand that you have been working all day, so I get it. Don't worry, we're going to cover it. Don't worry. And taking action as a leader. And the first one I want is where I'm going to go back to what Marissa and Kathleen talk about, finding my voice and being in a new space and bringing others along. I want you to understand when it comes to the first part of conducting a personal audit of your work, I want you to understand that this is a journey. I want you to write that word down, and I want you to keep it close to your heart to understand you're on a journey. And if you're on a journey, you're going to have days when the journey feels heavier than some. You're going to have days when the journey feels heavier than some, right? You remember that. Remember that. Never you forget that. Okay? Absolutely never you forget that. You're going to have days when the journey seems heavier than some. But who are you as a person doing this work? That's my first question to you. Right? Who are you as a person, as a leader? Who are you? Do you understand who you are? Where are you on this journey? What is your level of readiness? These are the questions I want you to write down so you can talk to yourself about them later. Right? I want you to talk about them later. I want you to ask yourself these things. Because who you are impacts how you lead. If I have seen people who have got the work to do in equity and they join it because it looks cute on a resume, and everybody wants to be a principal or a vice principal, want the equity thing on there. We get it. I get it. Come on. I get it. I get it. Nothing is wrong with that. But you have to be intentional, honest, and engaged in the actual work. Don't just come for the terminologies so you could put them on your resume. Don't just come to hear what the word mean. I want you to understand how are you connected to the work? How are you connected to the work? Who you are impacts how you lead. We're begging people nowadays and trying to teach people to understand empathy, when these people have absolutely not an empathy bone inside their body. Who are you as a leader? Do you see others have worth and dignity? No wonder why people are racist and they're homophobic and they're Islamophobic, because they don't even value people other than themselves. They're selfish, they're mean. Who you are impacts how you lead. This work needs people with a heart. This work needs people with heart. This work needs people with heart. And I will say this without fear of contradiction. We have so many people doing equity work and they are failing because they are full of documents. I have been on boards and places, and I'm going to say it, and I see people with documents and frameworks and paper. Oh, they have every book. Their resource kit is so beautiful, you want a copy. But they have no heart. They do not embody the work. You have to walk in equity. You have to walk the equity walk. You have to live the equity philosophy. You have to be a person that you care about others as much as you care for yourself. So ask yourself, what are the characteristics of a diversity leader? What are the characteristics of a diversity leader? And I did a slide that is coming up next that I deleted, and now I'm regretting I deleted it, because that is exactly what I want us to discuss. Well, maybe I deleted it for a reason, not knowing that I wanted to discuss it, but that's what I'm going to discuss, right? It's going to be a simple prompt for the next breakout room. So these are some of the characteristics. And when I do workshops and I have more time, sometimes I ask people to do a Jamboard, and I ask you to list all the different characteristics. And I could list maybe 5 or 6 more. Many of you could list 5 or 6 or 10 more things that are more important to you than these things. This is not a textbook of anything. These are just some ideas that I've used for years. Normally, I would say, tell me what's some of the characteristics. And then I say, what are some of the competencies? Because it's important, Natasha, we talk about the competencies. Because I think that we have been a little bit neglectful in saying, well, you can go be an equity lead. And we just grab anybody to go do it. At one point, when we were doing racism and anti-Black racism work, we were grabbing anybody with Black skin. So once you have Black skin, you go do the anti-Black racism work. Oh, you Black. Okay. Where you from? Oh, you come from Jamaica. Yeah, man. You can lead the anti-Black racism. Not even realizing that Black skin don't make you qualified. Because to do this work, you're going to need certain competencies, certain skills, certain abilities. You're going to need the moral courage. You're going to need how to stand up and understand who you are. You're going to need how to affirm yourself in days and times when affirmation is needed. You're going to know how to equip yourself with the proper words and terminologies and how to read and to sustain the learning. If I tell you how much I have learned in my journey of talking about 2S LGBTQIA+, you'd be surprised. I identify as a gay man, but there's so much learning I have done in the last 5 years to understand about two-spirited. To understand, oh, transgender is a whole different from somebody who's intersex. Oh, and this is what this means. Oh, and this is what queer means, because I never used queer growing up in Jamaica. We never had that word. That's a Canada word. I came to Canada and learned, and now we're using it queer back home. Oh, this is what this word means. Okay. Oh, two-spirited. Oh, that's so much learning. So much learning. I remember, Kathleen, when I started learning about First Nations, I did my first AQ in FNMI studies, right? First Nation Metis Inuit studies. And I did an AQ. qualification, further qualification here in Ontario, the additional qualification course. And I did it because I wanted to learn more. That's what brought me to the course. It didn't give me any increase in salary. Many people would need to do it because of that. I didn't. I was at the top of the scale, but I needed to unlearn certain things. And I think that was the best way to start. Or that I would go to free webinars and, you know, workshop. If you're keeping something and I was free for me to go, and I had the time, I would come, I would sit, I would take my pen and my paper, and I would learn so much you wouldn't believe it. I am a vet. I was gonna say damn, but let me say I am a damn good student, just like I'm a teacher. I will sit down with my notepad. Sometimes you wonder where you taking so much notes for? Andrew, that's my name, or DR.ABC. But I'm learning from you, Kathleen. I'm learning from you, Melissa. I'm learning from you, Natasha. There are things that you are saying that I need to write down so I can remember. So I'm a student. And I want to learn and unlearn. That's a part of the problem. We have so many teachers among us who do not care to learn anything because they think they're a teacher, they have nothing to learn. So they lack cultural humility. And they are the ones who are causing, I'm going to say it for the recording, they are the ones who are causing the harm with our children. I'm going to repeat it because people are afraid to say it, but I don't. There are teachers in our classrooms every single day causing harm to people's children. Harm. Because those teachers are racist. Those teachers are white supremacists. Those teachers are homophobic. Those teachers are Islamophobic. Those teachers are wondering why there's so many immigrants here. Those teachers are also wondering why you have something on your head, why you need to wear hijab, because we don't wear it. Those teachers are just doing the same thing. Let me say something. When I said some people get very uncomfortable or offended or whatever they want to do, and they said, oh my God, that was a little bit triggering. It wasn't triggering, it was the truth. It wasn't triggering, it was the truth. But you don't want to hear the truth. Just like when I think it was last year when we got up one morning. Anybody remember we got up one morning in Ontario, in Canada, and we heard the number, I think it was 252. I will never forget where I was the morning we heard the number 252. The number of graves found. I will never forget where I was. I was right at this table. My TV is right over there to my right side. My TV is over there. It's always on TP24, unless I want to watch Housewives of something, when I want messy TV, because sometimes you need messy TV, okay? Don't behave like you're too bright or you're too intelligent, and behave like you're always studying. Nobody's always studying. And if you're always studying, something is wrong. I did say that. Go eat some wings. Go eat some dip. Go eat some chips. Watch messy TV. Watch love show. Watch something you could cry. I love those kind of show, love show that makes me cry. I'm single. No wonder I'm single, because I like love show that makes me cry. Right? You have to be a real person. I want you all to understand, feel what you feel in your body. And I remember where I was on that morning. And I asked an audience that I was with later that morning, how did you react when you heard the number? How did you react knowing that these are people's children sent to school in the care of teachers? That's all I'm going to say. So when we talk about residential school and First Nations children and murdered, because nobody likes to use the word murdered children, it's almost as if we refuse to use the word teachers were in charge of the kids. I see it. We like to talk about residential schools, but we don't want to talk about the fact that the people who are in charge of the kids, who are children, who are teachers, educators, caregivers, persons supposed to show love and care. It's still happening today. It's still happening today. Kids are being, their dreams are dying. Their self-esteem is shattered because they are educators who do not show love and care. We're teaching from deficit lens. The kids feel like strangers in the classrooms. And so we want to make sure we understand, as a diversity inclusion leader, you and I, our job is to ensure that we have the skills and the competency and the knowledge and the moral courage and the strength and the love and the care to do this work. So we are going to go into our second breakout room for the day. And here is the question we're going to use for this conversation. What do I need? We're going to share very private conversation, no recording. The room is going to be closed. The recording is going to be off. We know what the characteristics we need. We know the competencies. But let us discuss on a ground level, as a local level, as a group level. What is it that I need to continue on my journey? Let's discuss with each other. What do you think you need? Do you need more support? Do you need more allies? Do you need more honesty? Do you need more resources? What is it that you need? The outside things that you need, Kathleen, but the inside things. Like, oh, when you said so powerful about stronger voice. There are so many people that need a stronger voice. And they have to work on their strength, the strength of their voice. They have to be the one to work on that. A strong voice doesn't come overnight. Oh, Kathleen. I love you. You're my friend. We know this. It doesn't come overnight. You have had some tears to cry. You feel like you said the wrong thing. You spend an hour thinking, did I say that right? Did I say it loud enough? Should I have spoken up louder? I used the word, should I use a stronger word? I didn't want to offend anybody, so I used this word, but no, I feel like I should have used that word. It's okay. That's how you work on your voice. So I want us to talk to each other. What is it that I need? What is it that I need to continue doing this work? I'm going to put about 6 minutes on the clock, and we're going to have that discussion. I'm going to also change up the breakout rooms. I never keep the same room because I want us to meet other people and say hi to other people and blow kisses to friends that you haven't seen since 2 weeks ago. So I want you to do that. So the recording is on pause, and we're going to go back play. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for those conversations in the room. I hear you. I heard you. I was in 2 breakout rooms, and thank you for being vulnerable, and thank you for sharing. And I hope when your peers were being vulnerable, you held them, you held space for them. It's important to always do that. Sometimes a little emoji like that when you're speaking is important, to do that, just to hold space for them, to let them know, I see you, I hear you, right? And you're holding space for them. So thank you so much for that. We're going to move on in the conversation that we are, and we don't have time on our side, but that's going good. And I see some people are having a snack or so. Please do it. If you have to drink, if you have a snack to have, if you didn't finish your lunch, please do it. Please. And you're going to realize when I get into the last few slides how important that is for you to eat if you need to eat, because that's important for me as well, for you to do that. So as we get into that, we said the first one, and then the use of equity lens. I don't need to labor this point too much because I think we've pretty much got this covered, is that when we use equity lens, we see them. The only thing I want to say to you as a leader, because I know sometimes some of us, we are a little bit strained when we talk about equity lens, because we feel very disappointed because we see a lot of the negative stuff. But let me make this very clear. Equity lens are the lens that show up the negative stuff. It's not the rose-colored glasses. It's not the pretty ones. It's the ones that show the dirt. When you put on an equity lens, you see what's missing. You see what's broken. You see who is excluded. You see what's left out. You see that the teacher is using a book because she's finally come to the place where she wants to be more inclusive, and she chooses a book, but you look at the book and realize this book is the wrong book. It is showing everybody who is non-white in very deficit. It's talking about Africa like one country, and it's talking about, yes, you and I know those books. So equity lens help you to say, okay, wrong book. Equity lens get you to say, Well, did you realize that we just did an entire series on classical singers and we didn't include anybody who was non-white? So the kids don't know that there are Black opera singers like Leontine Price and Justin Norman and Kathleen Battle, because you taught music the entire year and taught classical singing, but never mentioned any Black, Indigenous, or Latina opera singers. Equity Lens. Equity Lens let you realize that the library has 42 images on the wall, but not one of them includes any First Nations images. And if there's 5 First Nation books in the library, they are not written by First Nations people. Equity Lens make you take those books and throw them in the garbage. Did I say that on the recording? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Equity Lens that you take those 5 books, throw them in the garbage, and y'all don't read it for me. And then you tell a lie. Dr. Campbell, you did not just, I said it. You take the 5 books that they refuse to take off the shelf, throw them in the garbage. You wait till the garbage man come, you put them in the garbage, and then you tell a lie that you don't know where the books are. Neither do I. Oh, you don't like my style? If we did good disrupting, if we did good disrupting, quote unquote, every day, the world would not have been any change. Okay? We like to celebrate. Oh, by the way, let's celebrate what her name is? Harriet Tubman, the Underground Railroad, who freed all the slaves from America so they could come to Canada. And Canada is a great place, but we don't want to talk about slavery in Canada. You're not using the equity lens. We don't want to tell the truth that this woman was wanted dead or alive. There's a bounty on her head. All the people wanted to kill her. But we like to celebrate as if she went on some fancy train. The Underground Railroad is a fancy train. This one was wanted dead or alive. Equity work is hard, is heavy lifting. We talked about it. And the lens will show you the dirt. And so the lens will show you the dirt. Be willing to see the dirt and to help us to clean it up. Why am I showing the dirt? I am showing you the dirt so you and I did say you and I could work at cleaning it up. You grab a metaphorical broom, I grab something, and we're going to clean up. We're going to do some cleaning. That's what Equity Lens does. It lets you look on the committee and realize the committee is not very inclusive and representational. It lets you look at the lens and realize, well, this is the 5th year we're doing this big event, and every year the speaker is the same. Equity Lens let you go and say, can we have a different speaker? Can we have the fabulous DR.ABC, a Black man? Oh, yeah, that's what it does. Equity Lens said, well, could we have an Indigenous woman? An Indigenous woman? Could we have her be the speaker? That's what it does. And, by the way, an Equity Lens says, when somebody in the meeting, DR.ABC, you're going to get in trouble now. Somebody meeting says, well, let's pay her this. Equity Lens says, are you serious? We paid the white man that, but we want to pay the Indigenous woman this? The devil is a liar. No. I don't know if you want this workshop in it, but if you don't want it, that's fine. You have to pay me anyhow. You have to pay me. And then you don't invite me again. That's all you have to do. Because I'm not going to ever water it down. Because this is what is happening in our schools. Little Black girls have been to school where nobody ever said to them, you're beautiful. Because the only way beautiful looks, it looks white, blonde, with a hair in a ponytail. It never looks Rasta locks, or big poof, or African China bumps, or braids, or plaits. We have to learn how to make sure we are doing the little things in our school, equitable ways in which make a big thing in the lives of our students. How are you saying to the children, I see you by your words and your deeds? That's my favorite hashtag of all time. My favorite hashtag is hashtag I see you. How are you saying that to our students? And so the last thing I want us to remember is that we have to take action. I want us to remember our job is to take action. We are doing good job with, figuring out what we want to do for equity. Krista, we're kind of really cool at trying to figure out the list of things. We're just not getting much done. And we have to really be intentional about getting it done. We have to really call on our leaders to get it done. We see so much going on around us in the world. You wonder if people are genuine or honest about equity. And that's why I will always use the stage of the performance. And I want to write more about the performance of equity, caught up in the performance of equity. I want to write a chapter on that, caught up in the performance of equity. We have to take action. So as an equity leader, I want you to remember that you have to be clear about who you are. And then also spend time to understand others. One of the biggest things we have to do as equity leaders is making sure we are building connections and making sure we are building connections and relationships. Connections and relationships. Those two things are most important when it comes to the work of equity. Connections and relationships. Those are very, very, very important when it comes to the work of equity. We have to be in constant reflection, like many of you are this evening. And knowing that we have to engage in courageous conversations, we have to be advocates. Deal with the EDI climate. We have to build it. We have to pump life into in EDI and the climate and the culture and belonging. When people talk about, EDI said, I could do a great job without mentioning the word EDI for once. I could do an amazing job without saying EDI. Because what EDI really is about love, care, respect, dignity. That's what it really is about. So if they take away the word EDI, I really don't care. Because I could speak for an entire hour and a half about loving other people's children, caring for other people's children, respecting and celebrating other people's children. How do we do that? That is the crux of the matter. And so we think about action. I love this image. And when I look at this image, I know there are many people, when I do this a lot and I do it, I'll ask what people see first. And I'm always pleased to realize, a few people see the man first. A few people see the armor first. But always for me, a lot of people get to see what is behind the wall. But some of us, we are so focused on the armor. We are so focused on the suit that we are not realizing that when we break down this wall, we see all the good stuff coming through. And so we have to realize also that this picture is also saying to you, this good stuff coming through is not going to just come through like, just, oh my God, like Beyonce, I wake up like this. No, we all don't wake up like this, Marissa. And neither do Beyonce, but I love saying it too. I woke up like this. No, I don't wake up this gorgeous. I have to take care of the skin to maintain all of this gorgeousness, right? It's effort, it's work. And so as we're doing this, I want us to remember that we have to be identifying, disrupting, dismantling, and that will see some change. This is how I created this maths. We have to be identifying the issues among us, around us. We have to be disrupting those issues, dismantling those issues, and then we will see some change. Feel free to take a picture, like I said, share, copy me on it, tag me in your post. All that is beautiful. But we have to work at this. We have to work at this. And I love this image as well. Make sure you get a picture there. I love this image as well. We have to be intentional about what we do. Yes, thank you, Judith. I see you. Intentional about what we do. Okay? And so we do that. And then the last line for this part is your actions to promote inclusion within your organization must be intentional and deliberate. It's not going to just happen, Natasha. It's no drop from the sky, Jackie, like, oh my God, yay, this place is so safe and inclusive. Nope. It has to be intentional and deliberate. And the last thing I want to do, because this was asked of me to do, and I kept it, I want to do this as we wrap up. And it is so beautiful. I've never done this before, by the way. So Kashini, I hope you know that our conversation was beautiful, because what I like was that you were very clear and you want us to share the fire and the challenge and the excitement about doing the work. But I want you all to know that she was very intentional about me spending at least the last 5 minutes, which I'm going to do now, in talking about how do we care for ourselves while doing the work. And if you know someone who's really having a really rough time doing this work and they don't have time to listen to this entire video, give them and say, hey, listen to the last 6 minutes of DR.ABC talk. I do a talk, Kathleen. It's an entire workshop that I do called A Little More Oil in My Lamp. So you are the first person in history, I would say, who have gotten a little bit of this at the end of another workshop. So kudos to Kashini, because she literally wanted me to do that. I put this picture there for a very powerful reason. It comes from the history of Negro spiritual, Black people singing, plantation, and to make the work is hard. So imagine our ancestors, slaves, working in the cotton field, working on the cane field, and they would sing these songs. They never sing the song because they were happy to work. They never sing the songs because they were happy being slaves. They sang these songs because in spite of all of that, it kept them. It kept them thinking one day. That's why they would sing Negro spiritual like soon will be done with the trouble of the world. It's a oil they put in their lamp. A little more oil in my lamp, keep it burning. Those sang Eliza that would keep them encouraged. Swing low, sweet chariot, songs that keep them going. I want you to know, in doing this work, you have to understand that you're going to need the oil in your lamp. Advocacy often has no manual. It is more about being brave and standing between a vulnerable. There is no advocacy book. Maybe it's going to be my calling to write some kind of advocacy 101. I don't even know if that's a worthwhile book to write. I don't even know. Maybe, I don't know. But there's no manual. There's no manual, Jackie. It's more often it's a brave and standing between the vulnerable and power. It is a brave space, but hear what I said, Wendy. It is an exposed space. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? I know for a fact that I could have gotten even more speaking invitations, and I've gotten so much. Let me just say this on record. I am so blessed. I am so humbled. I cry, Wendy. I still cry. I still cry, Catherine. I do cry, Megan. Tears come to my eye when I think how blessed I am. Coming from my journey, from this little Black boy from Jamaica, sending myself to school. It's been a journey, Being bullied because of my sexuality. Being talked about because of, you have a strong Jamaican accent, which I have no intention of losing. And many of us have been hurt and marginalized because of our accents and all kind of stuff. But I know it's an exposed space. And guess what? I'm going to say this on record, Marissa. I have been turned down for speaking opportunity that when they ask me, Dr. Campbell, we want you to talk about this. I will never forget. I have to tell the story. I know you're going to have to give me 2 extra minutes, but it's going to worth it. I will never forget. It was last year, Black History Month. One of my many opportunities was to speak at this big event in Toronto. I was going to speak to a board full of white, powerful men. I can't tell you which organization. And they sent somebody to negotiate with me. And when they start hearing what I was going to talk about, and she kind of said to me, Dr. Campbell, this company has done a lot for, for Black folks. And we just wanted to spend a time to just let the board know how much we have. So I said to them, in Black History Month, you are asking me, a Black man, to speak to 13 white men about how they have helped Black people. Marissa, I see you put your hand over your mouth. Girl, I almost cursed. I almost cursed. I know you almost cursed too. I know you almost cursed. Well, if you curse, you deserve to curse. That's the right time to curse. I was like, what the hell? And the neck, what? But my own eyes say, what the hell? My mouth didn't say it, my eyes say it. And so when I was finished, the next morning I got up, I got an email. I said, hey, DR.ABC, so glad to meet you yesterday. You know, we have decided to go into a different direction, blah, 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 blah. And I swear to you, I put this on record. Maybe they'll hear this video and they know I'm talking about them, which would be great. I remember that morning when I read that email, I said, thank you, Jesus. I am not a hypocrite. Amen. That was my amen. I was like, did I just lose some good thousands of dollars because I stood up and tell a bunch of people that the bullshit that they wanted me to talk was bullshit? See, I was trying not to curse. Now I had to say it. And that's for the recording. Yes. So when you have to do that kind of work, Natasha, don't be pretentious. It's heavy. I lost some good $1,000. That was my vacation money to go to Punta Cana to wear my good bathing suit and walk up along the beach. So maybe I could find a husband because I'm single. Now I lose my vacation money. But let me tell you something, Natasha, it never takes 2 days for somebody to say, Dr. Campbell, I know it's late, but we're really looking for a speaker and your name came up. Can you? I was like, oh, yes, I can. The same money come back. So I want you to know it's vulnerable space. It's exposed space. It's not, every day is not going to be great. You know, when we're coming like, I know we're at our time, but I need 2 more minutes. We're coming like, we're budding to the earth in the crack there, the crack in the earth. But I'm going to tell you this, Eliza, I am not celebrating this picture. Nope. This is what many of us are doing, and we have to do it to survive. But I don't want us to celebrate this picture. What I want instead is this. I want us to come to a place where we learn that we deserve water. Oh, I felt that. I want us to know we deserve water and we deserve good soil. Oh, I feel that again. I want to put this, I have to record this clip alone to put somewhere. I want you as leaders and hard workers to know you deserve water. No, and you deserve good soil. You deserve support. You deserve allies who are honest and genuine. You deserve resource to do the work. I heard it in the breakout room. You deserve resource. You deserve to look in your email and to say, it is Sunday. I am not doing that today. I'm going back into my bed. I am having popcorn in the morning and watching TV. You deserve to say, it's like me. I just came back from March break. If you look at my social media, I was in St. Lucia living my best life. I was living my best life. If you sent me an email during my St. Lucia trip to say, there, Dr. Campbell, there's something at my school and it's racist and racial slur, can you? I guarantee you, you did not get a reply from me. Because I was resting. I was rejuvenating. I was filling up my cup. I was refreshing. I was repairing. I was fixing all the parts that have been broken and scratched and dent. So I want you to realize doing this work, and I want you to just survive. I want you to thrive doing this work. And you must, remember what I said at the beginning? It's right there. It's right there, Wendy. You must be well enough to be good enough. I need you to share it. Take a picture. Share it. Share it all over. When you're doing this work, use it. Use this slide. Use this slide. For DR.ABC, don't steal my work now, because if I steal my work, you're in trouble. Don't play with me, right? But remember, you need to be well enough to be good enough. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It's self-preservation. I heard you in the breakout room. I heard you. Some of us are overwhelming our inboxes. You cannot do it all. I don't need you to die doing this work. I need you to be well so you can last years upon years. I don't want you to use up all your strength in this one school year. I need you for next year and the next year and the next year and the next year and the next year. So as I leave you, I close this leadership. I feel so good about this request I was asked. Wow. To close out the leadership in equity conversation with the intentional ways we must take care of ourselves. I want you to be intentional about loving yourself and choosing yourself. I want you to learn how to take break and to take rest. Some evenings you're going to come online to do this, and some evenings you're going to head straight home, go in the shower, have a good hot shower, make your favorite cup of tea and jump in your bed, and you're going to hear your phone ringing and you're going to see the numbers and you're going to realize that it's 3 members of the equity team. But tonight, this evening, you don't want to be talking about that. You need to have your tea and watch an episode of your favorite show. I say that with very, very serious heart, because I know that that makes you healthier, stronger, and maybe and better able to do the work. That is why I'm so powerful with the work that I do. I pour in. I just came from St. Lucia. I have some food. Let me tell you something, Kathleen, because you don't think I'm joking. It's now 9:04 in St. Lucia. 9:04 p.m. I was on my 3rd margarita at this time. My 3rd margarita. And every time they bring the margarita, I said, do not forget the lime and the pretty things on the top, because I eat with my eyes. The bartender there, they know me. I'm not a drinker. What I'm saying is that I am on vacation. I'm living my best life. 3 drinks is my limit. I have my 3rd one. 3 drinks is my limit. I never had 4. But I have 3 beautiful drinks. And when I feel cute one day, I said, could I have 2 tacos, 2 seafood tacos on the side, please? Because I'm self-caring. I am self-caring. And then another day I get up, I go for a long walk early in the morning, 6 a.m. on the beach, Kathleen, and I just started crying. I wasn't sad. I remember I went to a conference and an indigenous woman taught us how to breathe. I heard people talk about breathing. I'm like, okay, how cute. This indigenous woman talk about breathing. And while I was breathing, I just started to cry. I don't know what I was crying for. Maybe retroactive tears. You know, you always owe some tears. But I walk on the beach the other morning, 6 a.m., and I just cried. When I was finished, God, I felt good. I felt so good. Oh! So I want you to feel what you feel. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure having this conversation with you all. You must invite me back again. I don't know why. I feel good. You all have such amazing energy. It was a pleasure, a pleasure, a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for sharing in this conversation. And thank you for being so beautiful, vulnerable, amazing, and kind, because I heard the sharing in the breakout rooms. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Cassini, I think it's over back to Kashini. Kashini. That's the word. That's the name. Kashini, over to you. Thank you.
But before she talk, DR.ABC, I just want to say how I'm glad to hear you, my viewers. I'm just glad to hear what you say, all right?
Enough love. Enough love.
Blessings.
Blessings and love. Blessings and love. Blessings and love. Sweet Jamaican accent. Come on now.
Come on, yeah, man.
All right. Well, I guess on behalf of everyone, like, thank you. Thank you so much, DR.ABC. I'm just gonna, I'll just make it personal for me. And I think some other people can share the same sentiments that I came into this workshop today knowing I needed something. I needed some spark, or I needed some, even just to be seen, to be like, I see you. I see how hard this work is. I see you. Let me give you some tools. Let me talk about it. Like I'm leaving feeling seen and left feeling hopeful. Like it's been a little dark for me at least, but just I'm leaving feeling a little more hopeful at least. I'm not sure what next steps are for me, but just a little more hopeful and like, yeah, this is why we need to keep going in the work.
Thank you.